Hello, everybody, and welcome to Doc Lightning 2024. My name is Ben Hansen. This is MinnMax. This is a place about games, friends, getting better. I am joined by one Jacob Geller. Cheers to you, sir.
Hello, I'm pouring myself more champagne.
Yeah.
Expense to the MinnMax account.
And hello, Leo Vader.
I'm popping my champagne and I'm so scared. Is it gonna kill me?
The key to popping champagne is confidence in the face. No matter what happens, no matter who you kill, you need to look confident.
Do it near electronics. That's what they always say.
I'm pointing at the one place in this whole room that's safe to point it at. One corner.
You always have to go harder than you think. Now this is... Oh! Doc Lightning, baby, we're here!
Yeah!
This is a short documentary film festival. Throughout the last month, we begged everybody in the MinnMax community, like, hey, create a short documentary. Under 3 minutes, you can shoot it with your phone, pressure's off, and this year for Doc Lightning, 39 heroes stepped up. Leo, don't puke, don't puke. 39 heroes stepped up to create short documentaries, and we're gonna go through all of them today. That is what this stream is all about. So obviously, huge shout out to everybody in the community who actually did it. You know, especially people who didn't make one last year. Last year was the first year we had Doc Lightning, but the people jumping in said, yeah, you know what? I am gonna go outside of my comfort zone. I am gonna do this. I love all of this. We are sending a code to everybody who submitted a documentary, so keep a lookout for your Patreon DMs, everybody, if you submitted a documentary, because I'll slide into those DMs and offer you a code as a thank you for, you know, going out on a limb and making MinnMax's content better, making MinnMax's community better, because the discussions in that Discord channel have been so sweet of people helping each other edit these things together, shoot them, share interview tips. And full disclosure, I haven't seen any of these. I've seen the headlines and I've made sure that we had access to watch them, and that's been it. Leo, how are you feeling about Doc Lightning 2024?
It's great. People could put anything in these things and there's no screening process.
After everyone was so tasteful last year, we don't have any screening process this year. But the nice thing is, we're streaming this live on Twitch and YouTube. You'll never see it if it's just a documentary about somebody's urethra. So there you go.
We will see it.
Oh boy, we will certainly see it. I apologize to everybody on Twitch. But huge shout out to everybody for making this stuff. You know, it's just a nice reminder that I think, especially in the video production world, Leo, I think everyone can kind of get caught up for like, if I just had this piece of tech, I could make better and better content. I would make a great documentary if I just had this, if I just actually had that new camera lens. It's like, no. All you're missing is the willpower. And that's what the MinnMax community is showing you here today. You can, if you have the will to create a short documentary, this software is free out there. You have a phone. Doesn't need to be a masterclass thing. Just get out there, crank it out. It can be sloppy. We're here to celebrate all of it, baby.
Get out there, crank it out. It can be sloppy. Ben Hansen.
Was I clear?
Crank it.
Okay, should we jump into this thing?
Do it.
Yeah. Also,
I've been
obviously,
looking at this picture of a garage for too long.
But obviously, shout out to everybody who supports MinnMax on Patreon at any tier for allowing this type of content to exist. This was one of, if not my favorite thing last year, is just the sweetness from all these documentaries. So I can't wait to see the direction this time around, and I hope that we don't get burned out of the gate. Here we go. Congratulations to Kendra. I randomized the list, by the way, of all the submissions. Purely random. So Kendra, you're up first with Harding's Garage. Let us know the volume is, everybody. Here we go.
I tinkered all my life with something, but then I got into antique motorcycles and hit and miss engines, and now I've built a couple of cars, and all happens right here in this little building.
This is my dad that we're interviewing today, and one of the things that he's done with me my whole life are going to antique oil-filled engine shows and antique farm engine shows.
About 1900, there was no electricity, internal combustion engines. It just literally changed everything, and these are the early versions of internal combustion engines.
Once you had a belt hooked to the pulley, this belt would be used to operate all kinds of different machinery. Some people prefer to keep them unrestored like this, so this thing literally hasn't been touched cosmetically since the day that it was new. And then Dad also does some like this.
This is called a side shaft because your camshaft comes up here, up the side of the engine instead of running parallel to the crankshaft. If you look at the back of this engine, this is actually a seat back here because to move the thing is so heavy to get it out to the job, you pull it with horses.
They were also used in an industrial capacity for oil fields. which is the case with this big boy.
These engines usually ran the pumps to pump the oil up, and they are gas engines, not gasoline. These natural gas comes up right with the oil in most of these places. And so that's you're running almost for free. All you got to do is put oil in the oilers, and you got your fuel coming right out of the ground with the oil. Yeah, that's a 10 horsepower, all about 3,000 pounds of it. 25 horsepower was the biggest one I had. It had 6-foot flywheels on it. And it's about 10, 12 feet long, and it was a 2-stroke. I tell people it's a giant weed eater engine. We went up and we bought it from one of the oil companies up in Pennsylvania, and the guy says, I really can't give you the engine. We have to do some sort of transaction. So he said, give me $1 for the engine and 6 cents for tax. I didn't have a penny of change in my pocket and had to borrow 6 cents off my buddy to pay the tax, which he never let me live that down.
Over here, we've got one of the farm engines.
This is a little
Perfectly cut screens.
And you build inertia up in the flywheel so it keeps turning from one hit to the next one. And this is called a hit and miss engine. Their early governor system on them, they just literally quit firing when they reach a certain speed. And then when they slow back down, they start firing again.
Yeah.
Jumping around stuff. So I've got 2 or 3 different kinds of welding equipment. I got a home-built abrasive lifer over there, drill press, grinders, metal lathes, milling machine, bandsaw, so I can fabricate a little bit of anything if I need to. This is what I love to do, and maybe I'm not sane, I don't know, but I love fooling with this old stuff.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Truly perfect. I need to run out now and buy an engine called a hit and miss engine. That sounds like a great investment.
The reveal of going from all the rusty ones to like the impeccably finished one, I was like, oh, you know, because it's like you don't even think that they can look new. Right. And then suddenly there's one that's like, yeah, this could have been made yesterday.
This is unbelievable. I dare you to find content like this on any other gaming Patreon. I dare you. It's that unique. Shout out to Kendra. The sound when that thing started up, nothing was preparing me for how good that would sound.
Yeah, there's like a place at the North Carolina State Fair that does like old-timey apple cider, and I don't know why they have one of those going, but it's like it's the only other place in my life that I've heard an engine that sounds like that.
Let's see.
From one hit right down, they start.
A great climax to the video.
Yeah.
You really wanted to just go like, "Awooga."
I love that. And you know, like, his dad's obsessed with it. He's probably been hearing about this his whole life. But I bet his dad was, who knows? Maybe he was tickled pink by finally being asked, like, hey, could you actually explain all this stuff in the garage, please? That's so sweet.
I like that, that his son knew some of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that like was not totally clueless, was like, yeah, okay, this is where you attach the belt.
Right. Love it. Congratulations, Kendra. Thank you so much. You get a game code. Next, we have David Mayer. Let's see. Answers in. Let's see what this is.
Trivia.
All right.
What is the 2-word descriptor for a bathroom that is only accessible via a bedroom? This is in contrast with a family bathroom or a Jack and Jill style bathroom. While you likely just call it by the first word in its name, which 2 words follow Popeyes in the name of that fast food chicken restaurant?
Hey folks, it is 7 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and start trivia for the evening. I am Ryan. I will be your shepherd through tonight's events.
As a young kid, my favorite channel on cable was the Game Show Network. So I'm pretty convinced at some point I was the 4th grader with the highest level of pop culture knowledge of the 70s and before. I would test myself with Trivial Pursuit cards. There are 6 categories on a card, and I would put them in piles by how many I knew, 0 through 6, and then take stats on it. It's kind of pathetic and wild. I have 3 weekly shows here in town, and they've all become fairly popular. I definitely feed off the audience's energy, and especially on Thursday nights. Teams buy into it and have a really good time.
We have religiously been coming since about November. It's the part of the week I look forward to most.
A lot of my friends are theater people, and so when we get together, that's usually what we talk about. So it's nice to be able to come here and play and have an extracurricular that doesn't have to do with that.
While it's a competition, no one takes it really that seriously. We just try to be better than we did last week.
That's the kid from Boyhood?
There's so many different kinds of knowledge out there, whether it is about car parts, like practical hands-on knowledge, whether it's about, physics or philosophy or pop culture. It's all valid knowledge to me, and I think it deserves to be rewarded. And I've found that really brings in many different kinds of people and makes Trivia Night more diverse and exciting. You see people starting to bring in friends who can help them in other areas, especially in terms of sports. Everyone's like, we're always missing sports questions. So you see one guy who's there just for sports. You see one person who's coming in just because they are young and can get the Gen Z questions. It's really cool to see people build this micro community to help them get better at this one thing. I find it very heartening. At its core, trivia is about spending time with people you care about and having something to do that isn't just small talk.
So much footage. Wow.
Cool. What production value? Shot on an iPhone. I would not have said that if it wasn't in the description. I would not have thought that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Music choices, absolutely perfect. Congratulations, David Mayer. Also, not that there's anything wrong with it, but when it was starting, I'm like, oh, so he's the host of Trivia, but I love he's profiling somebody else. It's like, that would be, I think it's another level of difficulty higher to be like, all right, I'm going to go interview you all about your passion versus me just focusing on what I do.
Yeah. I mean, and just like, we all have a trivia guy in our life that we've probably heard many questions from, and if you're me, never spoken to otherwise. It's just like, oh yeah, let me learn about that person.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Also,
great topic.
This is one of those topics that I think is shockingly, secretly difficult to edit. There's no chronology. You're just kind of like, all right, the concept of trivia, go. Like, that's really tough. But to make it flow, way to go, David.
Great B-roll, great pacing.
Yeah, way to go. This isn't a competition, to be clear. Everyone is equal in all ways. Let's see. Next one. This is Bob Buell.
Oh, I see the title of this.
The Making of MinnMax's Final Fantasy VII Queen's Blood cards. I, believe it or not, feel emotionally invested in this one. Let's see how it goes.
Oh yeah, ASMR.
Ooh. Is it purely ASMR? Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
This is a good type of video.
And Bob Buell famously hates talking on mic, so.
There's so many of those. Oh, what? A Dan card? A Kelsey card? These are new cards, y'all. A Joe Juba card? Unprecedented.
That just dropped?
Absolutely. Who needs part 3 of Remake? We got it right here. All right, I'll shut up. Ken Burns, eat your heart out.
Impressive restraint, not stabbing Blumpo one.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. This is an angle I did not expect.
I wonder if he's made any videos like this before, if this was just an excuse to make one, because it's such a specific genre of YouTube video that I've certainly enjoyed.
Oh, that's very good.
In my own time.
I also love playing Hearthstone. Oh my god, look at all that. Surreal got a card? All right. This, if you didn't watch The Deepest Dive in Rebirth, yeah, this is, he sent us, I think, 7 of them. But this is a whole new batch. Jeez.
What is that little flicky thing?
I don't know. Some people in the chat are freaked out because they don't want him to cut himself. You're talking about like the edge cutter?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Is it an edge cutter?
Oh, or is it is it cutting them to be kind of rounded?
I think so.
Because this is sticking the laminate on, I guess.
Yeah. What an odd craft thing. Who? I honestly am confused. Who was that guy in the suit? Was that me? I didn't even see it. Wow, the Blumpo card.
Well, I mean, we got at the community meetup. We have to play a game of Queen's Blood.
Oh my god, yes. Remind me to write that down, Jacob. Of course we should.
Thank you, Bob, for doing a Leo and a Blumbo card. I cannot overstate how we're not the same person.
Kyle Bossman. Oh my God, he's gonna freak out. He's gonna smile for the first time.
Big finish.
Whoa, Bob! Bob, come on, man. Oh, this is the whole kit and caboodle
to
now.
make it a foily, the Blumbo card is holographic.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
So
Truly a holographic
good.
Blumbo.
Oh, Huber's the suit guy.
Nice.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
There
Hey.
should be more documentaries that are about us that have our pictures in it.
That's so good. And Bob, correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a chance that maybe this might be up for auction for the Give to the Max charity stream in 2024? Is this entire deck? If you chose to keep them, that's fine too. No one's going to judge you for this. Oh boy, he said they're in the mail, coming to me soon. Oh, that's sweet. So they will be up for auction for charity this November, the full deck. That's sweet.
Wow.
That is very satisfying.
If I owned the Blumbo one, I would frame it. I might go in for that auction.
Guess you just got to bid on it.
That is so good. Way to go, Bob Buell. You just got a game code. Next one, of course, is the one and only Procyon number 6. The 6 and only. Here we go.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
Trains.
Hitting me where I live in every
Amtrak
sense.
Empire Builder route travels from Chicago, Illinois to Seattle, Washington and back over the course of 6 days. During its round trip, the train is handed off between 14 train and engine crews, consisting of qualified conductors and engineers. Let's take a look at the responsibilities of the crew that takes the train from St. Cloud, Minnesota to Winona, Minnesota. They start their day at 6:02 a.m. and wait for the eastbound train, which they will work and operate for the next 4.5 hours. Upon arriving to Winona, Minnesota, the train is handed to a crew from Chicago who will take it the rest of the way. The crew that just got off the train heads to an Amtrak-provided hotel room and attempts to make themselves at home for the afternoon and get some rest.
Leo, that's you.
Nice.
That evening, they get on a westbound train that left Chicago and work at another 4.5 hours back home to St. Cloud.
Great train footage.
Love it.
Exactly
Train is
You got golden hour, train footage.
I sat down with my coworker Tony Bray and found out. What are your responsibilities as a conductor for Amtrak?
The administration of the train, officially. We take care of passengers, get them on and off safely. We stop the train when it needs to be. We look out for restrictions, remind the engineers of upcoming restrictions. Basically, that's it. Try to stay awake.
Don't tell his boss.
What's the biggest challenge to the job?
Staying focused is the hardest. We work day shift and night shift out of our crew base, and it is hard staying focused and staying alert. So that I would say that is the hardest part of my job. One of our big responsibilities is staying up to date every day with different basic notifications and stuff that come up. So it is challenging. I love the fact that it's constantly changing.
Interesting.
I feel like I excel at that.
That's a video game right there.
What's the most rewarding part?
Bottom line, it's our passengers, especially as a conductor in the back. I deal with a lot of different personalities. We have a lot of first-time riders, and they are, especially the little kids, their eyes are wide open. They have a great time. But the passengers always have a story, and I love hearing people's stories about what gets them there and why they're there and stuff like that.
That's so good. Oh,
amazing.
Like the wobble in the sun. If you want to talk about trains, message Procyon number 6 in the MinnMax Discord. Hell yeah.
That's so great. I have ridden
Excellent.
that route dozens of times.
Really?
That's really cool to see.
That is perfect. Yeah, in any train footage, I think, is golden hour footage, Jacob, technically.
That's true. It's always a golden hour when there's a train around.
All right, so we got train count at 1. We'll see what it gets up to, but excellent work, Procyon number 6.
Wonderful.
Love it. All right, next beauty is from Gus Arroyo, I do believe. Here we go. Oh, throwing number 2.
Ah, here we go. Not as pretty as rural Minnesota.
This is so relaxing. Just like, I could watch this for an hour.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
I will say I don't know why the train isn't back. Maybe we're supposed to be just thinking about the train right now.
It's got to be the train big finish. It has to be. That's awesome. Is that what Asheville looks like, Jacob?
Not dissimilar.
Okay.
All right.
A lesson for all of us.
That's right.
Beautiful work. Love it. Thank you so much, Gus, for submitting that awesome one. Jeez. Crowboy says, can next year's meetup be in Japan? We've talked about it. An international version of the meetup would be fun. Okay, next one. Josh Ellis. I do believe. Here we go.
The Lawrence Improv Guild is just a little project that a group of us started about 10 years ago now. And there really was no improv in Lawrence, so we needed to change that.
Improv in Kansas.
Poor, and I understand what it's like to not have extra money to like go take an acting class or go see a show. So always, from the very first time I opened the door, I wanted to make it as accessible as possible. I love the way we do this. It's different than any other way that I've seen before. If you want to start doing improv, then you just come join us. That's all there is to it. And then you come and you take our classes. And if you keep doing it, no matter who you are, you're gonna get good at it. Oh, I mean, everyone that has joined us has brought something new and unique. It's a group activity, and every person has a unique look on life. And so everybody brings something different, and I love that. It's still a struggle to this day, and that's finding a reliable and affordable place to perform. Do a show every single week, or 2 shows or 3 shows a week. Maybe one day, but that day is not today. Yeah, so I don't want people to ever think like, oh, well, they're playing games, we've seen that. I would love to show them that we have something entertaining going on every single time we hit the stage. So we have done scripted parodies of television shows and movies. As far as movies go, we have done Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, The Thing. We've done Jurassic Park a couple times when nobody could leave the house. That was a super hard time for everyone, he said. At first, we kind of just let everybody know, hey, we have a show on Zoom, come and see it. And then we found out about Zoom bombers. We recorded it all, and then I would just edit it. A lot of us would gather online and watch it all together. 10 years from now, hopefully, we will be having those weekly shows, we'll be having those weekly workshops, we'll be having a good, steady audience, we'll be able to give our performers a little bit of money every now and then. Improv is sometimes looked upon not favorably by folks. I like to perform improv in the way that it's an art form that also makes people laugh. So maybe, I don't know, make a joke that really makes you think.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Beautiful. The classic question of ending it with, where's it going in the future? You got to do it. It's smart. It's awesome. Yeah, they had all that footage. I assume that was like from their social media, and you could just go through and pluck it, and that's why it was like boomeranging. Yeah, let's see this thing scenario. I really got to dissect what's going on here. So,
wait, you don't recognize that scene?
I mean, I guess I do. Yeah. So this is when they're burning him out in the snow. I think it's like,
that's probably. I just love the idea of like improv. So much seems like a New York and LA thing. You kind of like roll your eyes at those goofs in the cities doing improv, and it's just like no, here it is in Kansas where there are people. They will make an improv group and they will do silly things together.
Where Dan Reichert was born and raised. He was this close to being in this exact troupe instead of being a video game podcaster. Completely different.
And I love mentioning like that some people make fun of improv and addressing that. I think that's a cool thing to bring into it. And the people who do improv are braver than 99.9% of people.
Oh yes. All right, next one. This is Thomas George. Here we go.
When I was young, the sky was black with buffalo. My dad was 14 when he started working down the mines. He always told me that he wanted to be a football player as a kid. He was a quiet man. He didn't talk much, didn't tell us about his feelings. We were close, not through our words or through our actions, but I knew that he was there for me. 3 weeks after my 15th birthday, I was called underground. The morning of my first day, I remember seeing my dad cry for the first time. I don't think he knew that I saw him cry. He hid it well, but he couldn't bring himself to see me off. My mum made me pack lunch in a brown paper bag, just like the other boys. Red sauce sandwiches with no crust, just how I liked it. She watched me leave from our doorstep. I remember in the morning she was shining my work boots, even though they were just going to get dirty again anyway. It was a religion working down there, almost a rite of passage for the boys and the men in the village. My dad didn't talk to me much when I got back home that day. He didn't ask me any questions or see how I was doing. I think the thought of his only son down there almost killed him. That first day was the hardest day of my life. Blisters, cuts, bruises. Every day down there was hard, but that first day was grueling. Back then, there was no time for me to play with my friends. You worked all day, and when you got home, it was pitch black outside. Childhood was hidden underground in the darkness. I stopped going to school, so I have no formal education, no chance of a future outside of the mines. You didn't think about it too much back then. This is all we had. You didn't mourn, you didn't grumble, because it's all we knew. We didn't have anything else. I was 16 on August 23rd, 1973. We all sat round the table for breakfast. We said our prayers, and Mum made us both lunches for the day, and we were on our way. The last time I saw him was when we got off the bus. It was just another day, really. I don't remember a lot about the morning. Around 11:20 a.m, we all heard an alarm. We got pulled up from below, 40 of us crammed onto the lift coming up. All we heard was the chains rattling against the cage as it pulled us up. I remember having this thought in the back of my head, but I kept telling myself that there was no way. When we got to the surface, everyone was rushing towards Shaft A. I saw hundreds of men run into the entrance of the shaft. Pickaxes were breaking, men's hands were covered in blood and soot as they clawed like dogs. There was a leak that led to an explosion in the ground, sealing them in the mine forever. We don't know how many she killed that day, but my dad was one of them. I was 45 when I went underground for the last time. In 2008, they shut us down for good. How could we move on? This is all we had, all we knew. To this day, when you walk through the streets of Hirwaun, you can feel the impact of the closure on the people. In every pub, in every playground, and in every quiet alleyway. The shaft that took my dad was sealed off years before she was shut down. But that day, I stayed there until everyone else had left. I remember seeing the sunset behind the mountain, thinking I'll never be here again. When the sun had finally set and the colliery was engulfed in complete darkness, I lit up my lamp and left it there for him to see the light one last time.
Jesus. Thomas George, everybody. Whoa.
Incredible.
Was not expecting this.
If I had one complaint, it was a little tonally similar to the improv one, but it's a random order. We can't
account for that. Can't account for that. The delivery of that VO was so interesting. Was it like a written down story? Like, I'm trying to understand what the tone was for that interview.
Yeah, or like a Yeah, I want to know because it's unclear. I mean, so they said like, you know, he was 16 or 15 in 1973, right?
I couldn't do the math.
It's 50 years ago. And so it's like, yeah, is this like their child interviewing him?
I don't know. That's bizarre, but there we go. Songs my grandfather taught me.
Phenomenal.
Thomas George. Way to
Can you
go.
imagine if YouTube was full of 3-minute videos like that? How much better of a platform it would be for all of us?
Maybe they are. We just don't know. They just have no way of being surfaced except for Doc Lightning. Way to go.
That was excellent. Really well done.
All right. Here we go. Next one. This is Jacob Cummings.
Hey guys, my name is Yanis Benatia and I'm the founder of Kumome. Kumome is a game I developed to play with my father when I was younger. And very quickly, he got a little too good at it. He started destroying me. And I realized, hey, maybe this game is actually something worthwhile. It was a strategy game that, surprisingly, despite being the founder, I never beat him at it. And over time, I realized it was a very fun game and it could be scalable, it could grow, and a lot of people liked it. I built a team who've helped make this dream a reality. And as a matter of fact, we've completed the game. Today, we've grown the game, scaled it up, digitalized it, and really made something that we're very proud of and would love to share with you guys. Kumome has brought me and my loved ones a lot of very fun memories. A lot of angry ones, a lot of yelling, a lot of laughter, but ultimately, a lot of amazing memories that I would like to share with you as well. And I think that this game has potential to really bring people together and just become something amazing. Hey guys, it's Yanis again. I'm a little older, a little wiser. Our Kickstarter was funded completely and I'm very proud to say that we've made tremendous progress. We've managed to essentially build the game from the ground up, have a beta testing phase internally and a little bit externally. We've touched on our team's diverse background, diverse experiences abroad, to also emphasize having multiple languages on launch. So we really want to share our own backgrounds, our own experiences with as much of the world as possible, and we're very proud of the work we've done. We're currently in a bug testing phase, making sure we haven't missed any major issues, but things have been working out really well. It's been quite an experience. We've learned tremendously. That's been the biggest takeaway for me, is I learned how to work with many different people of many different cultures, backgrounds, making sure that everybody works together in the most efficient way possible, learning about things that I had no clue where to even begin learning, and yet it makes me very proud to know that we all managed to land on our feet and figure out how to make things work. I'm very proud to say that Kumome is approaching release, and I'm quite nervous, but I'm very excited because the feedback has been extremely positive. We've gotten a lot of people who've had many play sessions, and yeah, I'm just very proud of what we've accomplished. So I hope you get to try it out. See you guys around.
There we go. All right. Making of... I thought...
It was like I was right there in the developer showcase.
It felt like a, Nintendo developer spotlight thing. You guys playing Elder Scrolls Online? No, that's awesome. Congratulations, Jacob Cummings. Dylan Kelly.
And this is a good title of a YouTube video. What's above Warrior Rock?
You would title a video this.
I would.
And buildings. The changing of the tides exposes and hides them over and over again. Sometimes, however, a building's sole purpose is to always be seen.
Hello, welcome to the Warrior Rock Lighthouse.
Standing at just 28 feet, Warrior Rock is the smallest lighthouse in the state. It's also the only one left standing on the Columbia River. The structure has had a storied history, In fact, this isn't even the original tower. The original lighthouse was completed in January 1890. The early automatic striker frequently had issues, and there were multiple times that the lightkeeper would have to ring the bell by hand for hours. The first tower was replaced with a newer, electrified version in 1931. The basalt reef hidden underwater in front of the lighthouse means that over the years, collisions and crashes were common. One of the most notable was in March of 1930 when the dance boat Swan and the steamer Davenport collided in the night near the lighthouse. Lighthouse keeper Frank DeRoy, pictured here, noted in his logbook that him and his son managed to help 11 people from the water that evening. Years later, in 1969, the lighthouse was severely damaged when it was rammed by a runaway barge. The light, fog bell, and striker were all removed during repairs and eventually donated to the Columbia County Museum Association.
Jeez.
Fast forward to the modern day, Les Waters and Brandon Sundin, the curator and vice president of the museum, were kind enough to show me the striker and the light.
Cool.
Also kind enough to speak with me were Jean and Christy, who currently take care of the land that the lightkeeper's home used to occupy. After a fire apparently caused on accident by kids playing around, not much remains of the buildings that were once here, but some unique things are still present.
That is a 1944 U.S. Navy life raft. ID plate on the back of this. We were able to look it up and find photos of the same model being tested in San Diego Bay.
What?
I hadn't realized this till earlier this week, but there's like bullet holes inside.
Christy showed us where the barn had once been located and mentioned how beavers will sometimes come up from the water through this area.
So there's the barn.
There's the barn. See, we've never seen a picture of the barn.
Back on the mainland, the original fog bell now sits outside the courthouse in St. Helens, and a half-scale replica of the original lighthouse resides just around the corner. Although the lighthouse has been silent for over 50 years, Warrior Rock will continue to remain in defiance of the very waves that crash against it.
Wow. All right.
Excellent.
That was
awesome choice of thing to zero in on.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Great footage.
Yeah, I love being able to see like the whole approach to it, the kayak up it from the water and it from the shore.
Yeah, that's a lot of history to squeeze into 3 minutes, so congratulations on getting it all in there. And the fact that they looked up trying to find photos of that's so cool. Yeah, here's that shot.
And this is where Hanson wanted to do the meetup.
Congratulations, Dylan Kelly. Excellent work. Excellent work. Trampoline Tales. Here we go.
In August of 2015, my partner, Lara, rescued a rabbit from Silver Lake Park on Staten Island. They named him Nori. Nori was found a few months after Easter, so he was likely one of thousands of rabbits carelessly purchased as an Easter present and abandoned in a park soon after. Domesticated rabbits cannot survive in parks and forests like wild rabbits can. Turning them loose is a death sentence. Nori was very skinny when they found him, but thanks to Lara's tireless care, Nori recovered and lived a wonderfully happy life until he passed away in September of 2021. However, that's not the whole story of our rabbit, or should I say, rabbits. In February of 2021, about half a year before Nori would pass, we adopted a second rabbit that we tried to bond with Nori. Her name was Lefty. Lefty was named after the fact that her head tilts slightly to the left. Head tilt is a common condition that affects many rabbits, and Lefty's case was very minor. Now, earlier I mentioned we were trying to bond Nori and Lefty. You see, rabbits are very territorial, so to make sure Nori and Lefty didn't fight until they got along, we had to divide our studio apartment with metal fence as part of the bonding process. This is not an uncommon practice among rabbit owners. Dividing territory when bonding.
Oh, they're sleeping so close to each other.
And although we tried our best, Nori and Lefty were unfortunately not fully bonded when Nori's time here came to an end. I say unfortunately, but in a way it was for the best. Rabbits can often fall into depression and follow their bonded partners when they pass. And Lefty is still alive and well today. And actually, Lefty did eventually find a partner, but not a rabbit partner. You see, when we put up that metal fence in our apartment, we also put some bricks down as a bit of a buffer. And, well, Lefty fell in love with a brick. No, I'm serious. She fell in love with this one particular brick, just a normal, regular red brick. We tried moving the brick other places, we tried swapping the bricks around, but we would always go back to the same brick. We eventually moved halfway across the country, and while of course we took Lefty with us, we had to take the brick with us too. We don't know what will happen next with the story of our rabbits, but for now, we're so happy that Lefty's happy with her brick.
Wow.
Jesus.
A surprise romance.
Wow.
A bonded pair.
It's tough to make a documentary like I love my pet, but to have that be filled with like twists and turns along the way, like that's unexpected.
The storytelling was great.
Yeah. I'll be damned. Awesome work, Trampoline Tales. Congratulations. Beautiful
And honestly,
job.
that brick looking kind of good.
Yeah, that brick thick, there's no doubt. Okay, here we go. This, of course, is Josh W.
This is our first attempt at a pop-up event here in our neighborhood. Classically, we haven't been able to get anybody out to anything, so we don't know where this is gonna go. But we've invited a bunch of friends and people in the community that we don't know that maybe we're gonna get to know better today out to our property to put up their stuff, sell some stuff.
We wanted to add a bunch of elements that our friends would enjoy doing. And we're hanging out and going like, we need to do stuff together. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's have a garage sale thrift store.
There's artists out here just doing their thing. There's people selling crafts, collectibles, coffee, all sorts. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
And what is the name of this event?
Yeah.
Over here, you can get a massage. We have a massage therapist.
Oh my gosh, a massage at the flea market?
Inside the building and a vinyl swap along with some games to play. And ladies and gentlemen, Love and Tacos is open for business.
Tiny tacos.
We've got tacos, ladies and gentlemen. Phasm Creative is here with art and merchandise. Come on, come on. We've got succulents.
How's the day been going so far?
It's been slowly building. I'm enjoying my pickle in a cup from the snack bar. And, yeah, people kind of trickling in.
If I get to hang out with my best friends, really good friends, whatever you want to say, Chris, John, Aaron, Javier, those guys, I'll do every event of anything. Yeah, that's John, the vinyl guy. Why are your glasses like that? Because I'm old. I know the value of having good friends in my life and good people that you can rely on, and then to see like us be able to do something that branches into the community.
It's like when you set a table, it's a welcoming space, and that's what we wanted to do. Just set a table and see who shows up, and then we all had tacos together.
It was a quick pivot. Beautiful. Fest.
Who knew events like this started from somebody going, we should have an event like this, and then they just do it.
Yeah, I'll be damned.
It's hard to picture.
And just think, we could have all left this earth not knowing that this event happened in Modesto, California, but now we get a glimpse of what was happening in this slice for 2024. That's awesome. Thank you, Josh W. Killing it. Next up, Biscuits with Davey.
Short one.
Webster's Dictionary defines a turkey as a large North American gallinaceous bird that's domesticated in most parts of the world. And boy, is Becca gallinaceous. Becca's mornings usually start out with her butler coming to prepare a cracked corn breakfast and then putting out a sunflower seed platter for her other bird friends to enjoy. Becca lives a single life somewhere in the nearby woods, but she goes out of her way to show up from a different spot every morning to make sure her address stays private from any adoring fans. Becca usually spends time walking and eating by herself, but Becca can't help it if one of her many neighbors wants to come enjoy a fine meal outdoors with her. And it helps when they're a fraction of her size.
Aww.
When she's done eating corn, she'll usually wander around the neighboring woods, picking up bugs and plants along the way, but she'll be sure to visit again to see if there's any more corn left over. When her belly's finally full and she needs to take some me time, Becca will enjoy a therapeutic dirt bath to clean up for the day, making sure to get off any ticks that may have caught a ride along the way. At the end of the day, Becca just doesn't fit in with the squirrels that eat alongside her, or the birds that are so much smaller than her. But that's just fine for her, because she loves being out there on her own, enjoying what each day has to offer, taking care of herself, treating herself well, hoping that somewhere out there are some new delicacies for her to try.
Wow, a mature single queen. May we all have the self-confidence.
I love that. I was just
New
looking.
MinnMax mascot?
Oh, I'm not saying no. That's fantastic. Unexpected. I was just looking at some wild turkeys the other day and thinking about how freaking cool they were. They're just dinosaurs walking around streets. There's nothing better than that.
For real.
Oh man, that's awesome. Someone in the chat's like, "Are you doing this once a year? I'd love to participate." Yeah, we've done it. This is the second annual, so if you want to jump in and submit a documentary in 2025, or even before that, if you really want to, you can go to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. That's where we're collecting these from. We had everybody in the MinnMax community. We sent out a message, and some folks heeded the call. Is that the phrase?
Hewed.
Hewed the call.
They hewed it.
Speaking of hewed it, Karina Winter, here we go.
Hey, MinnMax, welcome to Barrie. Here we have our hotspot number 1, the Barrie sign. It is broken half of the time, but tonight I was in luck and it is in fact lit. The Barrie part changes colors depending on how spicy they're feeling, so I guess tonight was red. Spot number 2, we have the water treatment plant with this super fun fire spout.
Sweet.
Wow.
The eternal flame.
Next, we have the waterfront.
Careful.
Very pretty. And the water spout for people to play in and such. And then creeping in on the left here, we have some Canadian geese. Very dangerous. Look, but don't touch. Last but not least, we have the Spirit Catcher, the pride and joy of Barrie. It's been here since 1987. It's based on the legend of the Thunderbird. There are 16 quills. They do sway a fair bit in the wind. It is maintained yearly so that there's no final destination moment happening. And that is all of the points of interest for Barrie.
Love it. Thank you, CapCut.
Has to have been in a
I
final
feel like I've
destination
been.
Yeah, truly. It's in Ontario, people in the chat are saying. I love that. Look, this is what's great about this. Let's just show this off in a documentary. Yeah, I want to see that. That looks cool
We
as
should have
hell.
done this before we picked meetup locations. There's already been a few.
That is true. Ooh.
Could have gone to Fest.
Oh, that would have been sweet. Doc Lightning themed meetup. If you're not hip, we let people in the community vote for the location of the big MinnMax community meetup in September. And narrowed it down to 7 towns, and people chose Asheville, North Carolina. So we'll be sharing details on Patreon with exact dates and all that stuff. But a bunch of us will be going to Asheville, North Carolina in September if you want to swing by and say hi. In that order. Next is...
Excellent work.
Yeah, great job, Karina. Love it. Max BZ coming up next.
How long has this shop been here? In this location, it was 10 years in October. We were in Laguna Niguel for 20 previous. I'm Kenny Jacobs. I am the president of Nuclear Comics.
Is it worth it to you as a shop owner to do it every year?
Free comic book day?
Yeah.
100%. There's not even a question. Yeah, I think this year was year 22 of Free Comic Book Day. And since we've been open 30 years, we've been doing it since the beginning. But, the line's long. I understand. You don't want to wait in line. I don't like lines. But there's good deals. So maybe good reasons to wait in line. For $1 boxes are pretty hard to beat. There were years in the beginning, the first handful of years of Free Comic Book Day, I'd order a bunch of comics. I'd always offer them, all of them, to every customer who walked in. and we wouldn't get rid of everything. A bunch of years I had tons of buildings. Love the idea, but it just didn't generate. So one of the things that I did for a really long time was because Free Comic Book Day was always the first Saturday of May, which is tied to the summer blockbuster. This was back in the day where the lines would be around the building for those movies. So I used to go to the Aliso Viejo theaters, and I would sit outside the theater with a little table and free comics and say, you could have one, but you could have all these if you show up at the shop tomorrow. Over the years that I did it, and I did it for a bunch of years, not nobody, but I'm telling you, less than 10 people. But then we got to a point where it just, something clicked and the public just started coming out. Comics are weird because comics are kind of an expensive medium. If you're going to complain about price of a comic, don't ever buy popcorn at a movie theater. Don't ever buy a beer at a stadium. It's something tangible versus just something you piss out. I think the main foundation of most good comic shops is service and selection. But selection also equals back issue comics as well, like old stuff. Older the better. This year, one thing led to another, and all these people said, hey, are you gonna have anybody? I'm like, just show up. It's Free Comic Book Day. I want artists to do something for the people. The one girl, Asia, she has a relatively new book on the Moon Girl and Double Dinosaur, but I was pretty
cracking from the text.
The little artist section out there is pretty great. We've had bigger footprints of artists, but this year was perfect.
Love it. Way to go.
That's
Max.
awesome. It's like anyone who still owns a comic book shop is like, it's such a labor of love.
Yes.
You know, it's like no one's in it for like, I'm here for the money. And so just getting this picture of like what this particular shop's Free Comic Book Day looks like is awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect topic. Nice self-contained idea. Love it. Way to go, Max.
It made me want to hold a comic book. I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, his line about you piss everything else out. It's like, yeah, you know what? That's right.
I'm pissing popcorn out all the time.
And it hurts.
Billcom6. Billcom6, step up, please. Hey, somebody commented on this 4 days ago and said magical. We didn't get the exclusive reveal. Come on. All right, here we go. Billcom6. Oh, I like this already.
Nevada is a small town located in rural Wyandotte County, Ohio, where not much happens, except on Saturdays when it comes alive at the bullpen auction.
He pitched this for the community meetup, I think.
Welcome, folks, to the bullpen auction downtown Nevada, Ohio. I've got close to 4:30.
Now we're going to regret not
Let's
taking
we'll get things going here. Thank you all for coming out today. As you can see, we've got a lot of stuff to get through, and we'll get through it. Mike is going to start on the table.
Wow, look at those
back
guns.
here in the far corner, zigzagging back and forth. As he's selling, you're buying, please remove your items from the table. The guys will be right behind you, dropping down the table, setting chairs up, and if your stuff is on the table, it goes out the back door, and you'll have to go find it, and it'll be hard to find.
What is the bullpen? The bullpen is a full-service auction gallery. We can take 1 or 2 boxes at a time. We can take housefuls at a time. We bring it here to the auction facility and sell it. We liquidate the assets of the estates. When someone passes away, somebody downsizing, somebody just got a little bit of stuff they want to get rid of. So we take it and we turn it into cash and make everybody happy. Been in business, it'll be since '94. So been here a while. We've been at this location. Started out in the building out front that's no longer there. Bought the property next door. That's no longer there. Put this building up, bought the property next door to the north. That's no longer there. Removed one house from out back. So we've expanded several times and we could use a bigger building today.
While the items up for auction might be what first draws people in, it's the show that keeps them coming back.
20, give 5 and go. Final number 5, 5, 5. What's now? 2, 3. I got 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 7 and a half. 7 and a half on 110, 10 on 112 and a half on 115. $15.
It's like Trivia Tower.
You never really know what will be up for auction on a given week at the bullpen. They have it all.
What?
Even the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
So if you ever happen to find yourself in Nevada, Ohio, stop by the bullpen. You might not leave with any items, but you will leave with some memories.
Hell yeah,
that
Bill.
rules.
Love it.
I would be happy if every one of these was here's an event that happens in my small town.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a sweet spot. Yep. Like
good peak.
Next Doc Lightning event that rolls around, just look up events in my neighborhood in 2025. Just highlight that. There's always an interesting angle to take, especially if you zoom in like on one person at that event with their permission, not just zooming in across the field. I really enjoyed that.
Big auctioneer dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, it's got everything. Okay, here we go. Alex C. for the next one. Here we go, Alex C. Uh-oh. Is this a jump scare? What the hell's happening?
Where would we be without Chapstick? Now, my instinctual answer is our lips would be falling off, we would suffer, and World War III would start. But I'm going to put that to the test. Starting on May 11th, 2024.
Oh no!
6:30 p.m.
Don't do it.
I will be attempting to go 4 days without Chapstick. I mean, they didn't have Chapstick in like medieval times. And I mean, they lived. Who's to say I can't? Day 1 is complete, and I don't feel too bad. It's dry here and there, but maybe I'll live since it's just on and off.
Do not attempt this at home.
No.
No.
No, don't do it! Are you mad? Yeah. Oh, thank God.
I have finished work, and I didn't even think about my lips once today.
Hey.
So
Wow. This is like
that's
watching someone on the
promising.
road to recovery, except they're getting worse.
2 days. I'm good. Actually, there have been many different treatments for chapped lips ever since ancient Egypt, where they used a mixture of beeswax, olive oil, and animal fat. It's even been suggested that earwax could be a solution for chapped lips. No thanks.
Yeah.
And while the Chapstick brand has been through many iterations and been through the hands of many wealthy companies, its original formula can be credited to Charles Brown Fleet. Cheers to him. The 3rd day is done, just at a gas station. Lips feel good, life feels good. 4 days, now done. I did it. Maybe there's a lesson that can be drawn from this challenge.
Right.
Just because you have an uncomfortable feeling, it might still be temporary. Therefore, you might not need a product in order to fix it. And then maybe I won't have to so frivolously spend money on...
Wow.
Jesus, that might be
Rest in peace, Morgan Spurlock.
I was going to say the exact same thing. That is maybe a perfect documentary here, everybody.
They shouldn't have had those pretzels line. It's just so funny.
God damn it. Way to go, Alex C. You never know what to expect. Beautiful. All right, next one is Dark Fish Days. Here we go.
Hey there.
Perfect.
Hey there.
Important.
Yep. This is intense. It's freaking me out.
I feel like I'm in like a motion simulator ride.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on the road. This looks like a great route.
Yeah, how's this compared to your 6 a.m. rides, Ben?
It's a good question. This one is. I like Minneapolis biking a lot, but that's tough to compete with. Although we have the Mississippi, we're doing fine.
River Parkways.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a great documentary is about the guy who recorded "Wait" and what it's like to hear your own voice out.
Yeah, let's go visit his mansion from all the licensing.
Yeah.
Residual.
Wait for his 30 wives.
He was actually a real asshole. This
Looks
is
like a nice biking city.
I would call this visual ASMR. I love you get a little bit of the hands in there.
Hello. Bike pulling?
Yeah. Do you want a view of this? your walk.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't you so glad you biked in?
It's like
Every
Journey.
morning?
Yeah, this is lovely. Oh, that freaks me out.
Does this feel so much better? I don't hear anything.
I know.
Yeah, this is perfect content.
Have a good day.
Oh, just a little beautiful, quick journey with them. That's cool.
Idyllic.
I want to find a buddy like that.
I'm just wondering if they got in, showed a clock, and it was like 3 p.m.
That's amazing. Love
Respect to you for knowing that is documentary worthy.
Right,
like
yes.
knowing how good you have it, that's such a special thing.
Yep.
And it's like you think you know kind of the tone and the pacing, and it's like another person. And then
Right.
it changes.
Yep. Everybody's got those twists. A brick can be humped by this rabbit. There's always twists in these documentaries. That's beautiful, Darkfish Days. I still remember in Photo Mode Snap, you submitted a great Fortnite picture, Darkfish Days, like 4.5 years ago. So thank you for that as well.
Oh, I'm curious how long that is. If you're in the comments or anything.
Yeah. Tokyo Game Life. Here we go. Machida, the real life Pallet Town. I should probably start saying the titles before we jump into these, but here we go.
Machida may seem like a normal city within the Tokyo metropolis, but it's the basis for one of the most iconic locations in gaming, Pokemon's Pallet Town. Why? Well, Machida is none other than Pokemon creator Satoshi Tajiri's hometown.
Oh, whoa.
It was here where Tajiri would often explore outdoors and catch bugs, which would later inspire the Pokemon franchise. While many of the areas he explored as a child have been replaced with buildings and modern infrastructure, Machida still lays claim to being the real-life Pallet Town thanks to the installation of several Poke Lids.
Amazing.
These are Pokemon-themed utility covers that were installed all over Japan in order to promote local tourism. Machida Seragaya Park houses 6 of them, including the original starter Pokemon and other creatures you find early in your journey around the Kanto region. If you look closely, you might even find real-life Pokemon in the park. The Poke Lids within the park are often placed in specific themed areas, like Poliwag near a bubbling stream, or Charmander next to a fire hazard warning.
This is so good.
The park's lush environment really evokes the rustic nature of Pallet Town and exploring the grassy roots of the original games. Outside of the Poke Lids, Machida has plenty to offer as a destination for a day trip. For one, you can eat at Genie's, a steak restaurant shaped like a ship. Why?
Wow.
Why not? But one of its more famous tourist attractions is the Machida Squirrel Garden. Here, over 200 squirrels make their home in eclectically decorated houses, and they freely roam the area.
Get out of there.
You can even buy sunflower seeds to feed the squirrels up close.
That's where Squirtle came from.
Right next to the Squirrel Garden is the beautiful Yakushi Ike Park, featuring expansive greenery with a large pond, Japanese-style gardens, and Edo-era buildings.
Is that moving?
While today's Machida may not be exactly the same as Tajiri's childhood home, it's a wonderful place to visit for anyone with the spirit of adventure within them.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Wow.
I've never seen a more perfect piece of media in my life. This is
seriously
unbelievable.
All I ever hear about is the deer park in Japan. Never heard of the squirrel park.
Yeah. I had no idea this existed. I had no idea about any of this stuff. As a Pokemon fan, that is so cool. Everyone's lighting up in the chat, raving about the VO too. Like that's the perfect voice for a video like this.
That is YouTube ready.
Yeah. Presented on YouTube.
Yes.
That's excellent. Excellent work. Congratulations, Tokyo Game Life. Very impressive. Jason Wojnar for the next one. No title on this one.
Wow.
Мій чоловік в полоні вже 2 роки. Востаннє я бачила його 16 березня 22-го року, а останню смс-ку отримала з Азовсталю 1 травня 22-го року. 17 травня він за наказом президента вийшов з Азовсталі, потрапив в російський полон, і відтоді у нас немає зв'язку.
Мені здається, важливо бути голосом для тих, хто не може сам за себе кричати. Ми не в полоні, і ми маємо постійно нагадувати людям, які там знаходяться, що ми про них пам'ятаємо, що вони для нас важливі, вони нас захищали, і тепер наш час захищати їх.
Кожен день для них це, я думаю, пекло, знаходитись в російському полоні. Чим більше людей буде приходити на акції, звертати на це все увагу, кричати, що дуже багато людей в полоні, тим швидше, я надіюсь, обміняють хлопців, які знаходяться там.
Моя особиста історія, як і історія тисяч і сотень тисяч маріупольців, полягає в тому, що під час облоги міста ми перебували в блокаді, без їжі, води, але є ще і подвиг маріупольського гарнізону, який дуже сміливо обороняв місто упродовж 86 днів, тримав цю оборону і в такий спосіб відтягнув сили супротивника на себе і ціною власного життя виборов свободу для багатьох українських міст. І я вважаю, що сьогодні обов'язок кожного українця та українки виходити на такі акції на підтримку військовополонених. Українці за кордоном також можуть і мають виходити на акції, тому що країни Європи, США, все це зона, де не відчувається війна, тому що вона проходить на території України. Але Росія є небезпекою для всього світу. І якщо сьогодні не буде підтримки з боку інших країн, то Росія піде далі. І обстріли вже будуть не на території України, а на території країн Європи.
Світ мусить бачити і пам'ятати, тому що світ змінюється кожного дня. Але одне залишається незмінним. Наші люди в полоні, наші люди страждають і наші люди гинуть щодня.
В перемозі України мають бути зацікавлені всі. Наші з вами онуки, вони будуть запитувати, що ти, дідусь чи бабуся, робили в цей час, як ти підтримував справедливість, чесність, законність в цьому світі. І якщо ви на боці правди, це равно на боці України, то вам буде що відповісти своїм онукам.
Jeez, there we go. Jason Wojnar, everybody.
Are you sure you meant to send that to MinnMax and not like a reputable news organization interested in hard-hitting reporting?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I say that in complimentary, to be clear.
Yes, of course. Awesome.
It's so cool to just see, like, what they're saying is really interesting, but also just like, what does a protest feel like in another country?
Mm-hmm.
Like how is a Ukrainian protest similar and different from U.S. protests?
Yeah.
And years into an ongoing protest.
Right.
In the moment, which is when news companies are like, interested in covering it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Jason, for your work out there.
Excellent.
Remy B. Remy B's up next. Let's make an object.
Can I use other stuff?
Sure.
Anything?
Anything.
I can use anything I want.
Yeah. You can use anything you want.
Then I might make this a double whammy.
What does that mean?
I'm liking there's like indica music in this.
Double whammy.
I love any time-lapse craft.
Always good. What the hell? This is beyond crafts. Come on now. That one.
Design?
Yeah.
I want to see that snake chair.
This might be the two coolest people I've ever seen in my life.
For real. This totally makes me want an object.
Like Chapstick?
yeah, great example.
I love that I don't know what anything is going to look like when it's done.
Right.
Are they going with the snake chair?
I think they're doing all of them.
I think they might be doing all of them.
Okay, well, if they called it "Let's Make Some Objects," I wouldn't have embarrassed myself.
I'll stop the video, Leo. They're out of line here.
Wow, they make the snakes in halves and then they're attaching them?
What shop is this? Where do you live? Okay, all right. You're already cool. Stop it.
Go off.
All right, sorry, we shouldn't mock these documentarians.
I'm talented and I have a loving partner.
Damn it.
We make objects together.
Can't make objects without making out.
Oh, look at the shine on that.
What the hell am I looking at? How are you a MinnMax Patreon supporter? You should have your own Patreon.
We should support you.
Yeah. Let us buy your freak chairs.
Oh my gosh, look at all the snake chairs.
Oh, snake chairs.
If one person thinks it's a competition, the other person better speed up and also.
Are you telling me to speed up?
Wow.
Jeez. Doc, more coming soon. Anytime. Doors wide open. If you send us another one of those, we'll just air it on MinnMax's channel. That's amazing. Congratulations, Remy B.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I unironically love that you two have that in common. That's so cool that you get to work on those together.
Yeah. Jesus. So what is this Chicago Collective? That's just like the space? Wow. How do you put that in a Tinder bio? I like making objects.
Looking for a third?
Hey, clearly it worked.
Freaking work. Congratulations. That's awesome. Also wanted to shout out Tokyo Game Life for not using the Pallet Town music from Pokemon. Like that would be right there, ready to go, and maybe they're scared legally or what, but okay, here we go. This is, of course, Star Killer with a killer topic here.
Yes, of the moment.
Wow, this is well intended.
I want that job.
Should that be at the MinnMax meetup? We have a pool that we're in. That's come up and talk to it.
I love Chrono Cross.
Are we making a staff here?
Wow, they got a dragon shooting that far?
That's so good.
Rocks. Good jump shot.
That's comedy.
Oops, comedy knife throwing shit.
Come on. She looks thrilled.
Oh my gosh. I love that Renaissance is just totally up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Dragons, pirates, juggling, it's all there.
They were all hanging out at some point.
I take it back, that's comedy. Awesome.
I think it's the champagne talking when I have the strong thought that I kind of wish I lived in a time where there was jousting.
I mean, you technically
hey, Leo,
do.
You do. It's happening right here.
Yeah, nothing's stopping you. Fantastic, Star Killer. Great work. Yeah, nice to encompass an entire event. That is hard to do. That's so good. Leo, I assume you've been to the Renaissance Festival in Minnesota?
Yes, a couple times, not in a long time.
Okay.
Would you dress up?
Barely, sparsely, in like costumes we had laying around for like videos.
I did as a kid, because my family friend was selling pottery there. It's like all the kids got dressed up to sell pottery. It was fun. It was fun and good dorky stuff. Very good. Last time I went, I rode an elephant. That was fun.
Wow. Didn't even know they had those.
Do we have a second for my weird Ren Fair story?
Absolutely. We got like 2 minutes for it.
I went with a friend, and his uncle was doing the guy who's in the head clamp thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Getting
Good
tomatoes
gig.
thrown at him.
Good gig.
And roasting people for not throwing the tomatoes well enough, you know?
Yeah.
You call that a throw, things of this nature. And my friend went up to do it, and he threw it, but he was not athletic at all. And so the tomato didn't reach his uncle, but his uncle didn't want to roast his nephew. So he was going really easy on him, and the crowd was not responding to this weird favoritism.
Tear him apart!
Yeah.
They took tips out of his tip jar at that point.
Right, it was strange.
You know, this is where Penn and Teller got their start, because that guy kind of looks like Penn. At the Minnesota Ren Fair. Those are first shows together.
Oh, really?
The Tennessee Ren Fair.
Let's say that.
Wizards.
Yeah. All right, next one. This is Tan. Hello. Why We Fight. Finally taking that title back from film history.
I love a fighting game documentary.
Yeah! You know how to edit.
I mean, I've been traveling and competing for like the last like 7-8 years or so, and I think really like the rush and adrenaline you get from, you know, playing on stage, having those kind of like monumental wins, big upsets and stuff, and feeling the crowd and all that really like helps push you even further, because like that energy is just like nothing else.
What is this?
I really think that like a lot of people end up really overcomplicating things, and they kind of put a lot of players on this pedestal that like they're geniuses and that they can't really accomplish that same stuff because they're not as smart as them or not as talented or anything like that. When I think that if they really like were willing to try to take a step back from it a little bit, they'd really realize that it's not as crazy as they seem, and they're kind of limiting themselves from being able to really push themselves further.
If you're just really content with all your losses and stuff, you won't hurt your ego, but you're never gonna have that drive to get better. So you need to take that like disappointment and anger and push it towards something stronger.
I think it's honestly truly something special. Like anytime you see like an event like Combo Breaker or Evo, and you see the passion like that's just given from like
there we go
100% from the spectators to everyone competing to the staff, you see that everyone truly cares about the fighting game community, and it's something you don't see in many other places.
I think it's good overall. Like we have things where it's like you see the bad and the good and all of that, but I think overall, like the overwhelming positivity, like you see stories about people where it took them off the streets.
It's just like this overall like feeling of competitive growth and strive that everyone's going for, and they're all helping each other along the way.
It was just one of those things where it was like meeting the community and just seeing everyone get together. It makes it more fun. You can actually see people, their reactions, just even winning or losing, just seeing everybody. It's a big family.
Awesome work, Tan.
It's wonderful peek into the community.
And to go in with that one question as your focus, make it the title, super smart.
Mm-hmm.
Tan says in the
Saw
chat.
the Bucky shirt?
Mm-hmm. Said that he went and asked this guy if he could interview him, and then the guy went and got his glasses and put them on before the interview. So awesome. Good work, Tan. Love it.
Great one.
Yeah. Slug Life. This is Sam Kennedy.
I've spent the past year living in the sunny town of Santa Cruz, California. I'll be leaving soon, so I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you all about one of the wonderful creatures I've befriended during my time here, the banana slug. Despite their name, banana slugs aren't edible. In fact, their skins are covered with a thick mucus meant to paralyze the mouths of hungry predators. These little guys also use their mucus to prevent dehydration. If you thought this couldn't get any weirder or grosser, you were wrong. Because 2 banana slugs will also lay down a thick layer of this substance before copulation. Then they'll take turns biting each other so hard that entire chunks of their bodies are torn off. You can only imagine the sheer horror on my face when I learned this. Despite, or perhaps because of their weirdness, the banana slug has become a sort of local icon in Santa Cruz. In the early 1980s, students at the University of California, Santa Cruz, rallied to make the animal their school's mascot. Nowadays, banana slugs can be found on just about every bit of UCSC branding there is. When my parents first started dating, my dad took my mom on a hiking trip in the Pacific Northwest. My dad is a Seattle native, so he was used to seeing banana slugs in the rainy season. But the moment my mom laid eyes on one of these slugs for the first time, she was repulsed. She hated them so much that after a while, she refused to hike any further into slug territory. So my dad conceded, and they left. A few years later, the two of them got married. In just a few weeks, I'll be headed back to my hometown of New York for the summer. Then I'm off to Minneapolis to begin a new journey.
What?
I'm gonna miss watching these little guys crawl around the forest after each rainstorm, or going to sit on a rock only to realize it's been claimed by a slug the size of a hot dog. Little moments like that are what makes Santa Cruz so difficult to leave. Still, if there's one thing I can learn from these banana slugs, it's that goodbye really means see you soon. See, in the summer months, banana slugs participate in a process called estivation. It's similar to hibernation. Though they're all hiding away now, these slugs won't be gone forever. I may be leaving soon too, but that doesn't mean I won't wiggle my way back here eventually.
Get out of here, Crow. Oh, he did. Cool.
Wow.
All right.
Ending with a poetic description of what banana slugs do and how that relates to their personal moment in life. Excellent.
That's
We
it.
love that.
That's all you need. And the connection between your parents meeting and the mating rituals of the slugs. It's controversial, but I'm glad you went there. I'm glad you hit that
Brave.
very hard over the head. Way to go, Sam Kennedy. Yeah.
Excellent.
You know them from their appearance in Pulp Fiction. Was it what John Travolta's character's wearing the banana slug shirt? We all know it. We all love it. Hey, Adam.
Over the line.
That's right. What's that?
Over the line.
Oh, sorry. Adam Wagner up next. Here we go. This is the Frida Cinema.
Within the heart of California is the city of Santa Ana, and within that heart is an even smaller, more powerful heart known as the Frida Cinema. Named after the eternally inspirational Mexican artist, the Frida has for nearly 10 years carried the weight of being the only art house theater in the county. But no, it has not crumbled under such pressure, but rather, much like the Titanic, become immortalized through film and turned into a cultural phenomenon. Thanks in no small part to its dedicated crew that have found the eventually iconic theater to be a querencia of like-minded, kind-hearted folks ready to watch a movie they've never heard of. But here comes Shift Lead Supervisor Bobby Thornson. Let's ask him about the magic.
What's your favorite event? My favorite event is our annual Art House 101 series, where we are an art house at heart. So we show movies that are international, we show New Wave, we show them free to the public, and the movies we should be showing.
Wow. Great work, Bobby. The Frida is a non-profit supported entirely by the community.
Best
Here
shot.
comes Becca Phillips, the graphic designer, genius, and social media marketing
No
supervisor.
way.
What's your favorite event?
I would say my favorite event is our annual Twilight Marathon. We screen every single Twilight movie back to back with trivia, super fun merch. The crowd is always super lively and very into it. And it's just a fun, very long day.
And don't look
I would
now,
go to
but
that.
we're about to talk to Trevor Dillon, the Frida programmer himself.
What's your favorite event?
My favorite event is a 12-hour horror film marathon that we do every year called Camp Frida. This year's will be our 8th year doing it. It's from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, and we open up both of our auditoriums to playing horror films on each screen, which is very unique to any horror marathon across the country.
A horror movie marathon the likes of which Elm Street, Amityville, and the infinite terrors of space could not even boast. Here we enter the theater, a place where every emotion, not just heartbreak, feels good. Spectacular celebration. Let's find out.
Oh, hi, Adam.
What's your favorite event?
My favorite event is the Classic Movie Night series, where I just think it's a really important series to really help highlight at least American cinema and where, you know, films have kind of started and how they kind of evolved over time. I think it's really important as like an educational platform, and it's a way to really remind people where, and I guess where now cinema kind of stands and how it's informed by so many previous decades. And I think there's just so much ground to tread based on that. So,
Thanks, Austin J. So why do we come here? 4K's worth of red-hot lasers projecting the images of a million dreamers. Not 1, not 13, but 14 surround sound speakers tickling eardrums with the immortal words that have defined our lives. The Frida is more than a theater, it is more than a cultural icon, it is a living monument.
Wow.
What an inspired way to do that.
That's awesome.
One shot spaced for the voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like a genuinely very impressive and difficult thing to pull off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And is it exactly 3 minutes long?
Oh, you better believe it's exactly
Oh my
3 minutes long.
God.
Scorsese wishes he could do this with that Goodfellas shot. This is so much better. And everybody nailed it, like all the interviewers, or interviewees. That's awesome.
The fourth person went a little long to make sure it hit 3 minutes exactly.
That is quietly the most ambitious documentary so far.
That is really remarkable.
Jeez, way to go, Adam Wagner.
And genuinely like a great look at it too. Like it didn't sacrifice being a good look at the theater. to pull that off.
Yep. Oof, that was good. Here we go. Oh, this is a topic. Nubby.
Lake Champlain, an iconic landmark dividing the states of Vermont and New York and stretching across the Canadian border into Quebec. For many, there's a legend that's synonymous with the lake itself. an ancient plesiosaur-like monster which is said to live far below the surface, almost never seen by humans. Today, we refer to this monster as Champ.
No. Love him.
Unconventional monster reveal.
Many dismiss Champ's legend as simply one in a long list of lame, regional copies of the Loch Ness Monster, the gold standard of water-based cryptids. Indeed, the modern legend of Champ is largely owed to one photograph taken in 1977 by Sandra Mancy. If you ask any Vermonter, I guarantee that they've seen this picture. Many mistakenly believe the legend originates from this photo alone. However, it goes back at least 350 years prior. 1609, the same year as Samuel de Champlain's first sighting of the lake which now bears his name. De Champlain's journals document two separate sightings of a large serpent-like creature which appeared briefly above the surface before diving back down to the depths. There are numerous lesser-known sightings from the 19th and 20th centuries recorded in newspapers. One 1886 newspaper contains a drawing of the serpent based on the description by the witnesses who encountered it. One 1873 newspaper reports an encounter in which a tour boat collided with the creature, with multiple onboard witnesses describing the event. Granted, there are often many such stories for every cryptid. I find the most compelling evidence of Champ to come not from any recorded documents, but from the word-of-mouth traditions of the indigenous Abenaki people of the Champlain Valley. The Abenaki shared stories of Gita Skog, a horned serpent said to inhabit the lake.
What?
The ancestors of the Abenaki people have lived in the region of modern-day Vermont, New Hampshire, and Quebec for over 11,000 years, first setting foot on the land at the end of the last ice age. Having lived before the formation of the lake, these people would have been familiar with the Champlain Sea, a vast saltwater inlet of the Atlantic Ocean which existed from between 13,000 to 10,000 years ago. Bones of ancient whales which migrated inland from the ocean have been found within the landscape the sea once covered.
What?
Could Champ be another ancient remnant of the Champlain Sea who migrated from the open ocean and remained long after the sea receded back to the Atlantic?
You tell us, Nubby. That's awesome. Fantastic.
Impressive, like, the tone, of course, amazing, and great, like, amount of information conveyed in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
No, it's like you see it, and it's like it starts kind of silly, and you're like, all right, sea monster, and then by the end, you're like, well, there wouldn't be all those accounts if there wasn't something, right?
And was this whale bones? I mean, that can account for everything. Yeah, that's...
This was submitted for the meetup, right?
I don't know.
I think I remember hearing about Champ.
Like just riding on its back for the meetup?
Yeah, in Champ's belly.
Oh no! That's awesome. Congratulations, Nubby. Next one is not weirder. Let's see. There we go. We got it.
Yes.
Finally, us. All right, I don't know what's happening here. Let's see.
Even me.
Good. I'm curious to hear your answer. But Leo, the hypothetical that I derailed the conversation with is, where are laws? Like, we all know there are laws, but like, Leo, if you had to find out in the year 1977 what's legal and what's not legal, what would you do? Oh my God.
Such a good question.
Like, it's,
I guess my first thought is the library.
Right. Have you ever seen a sign that says laws over here at a library, though?
Next station is
Are you going to find
this
the laws?
past May, Toronto held its annual Doors Open event, a weekend dedicated to finding the hidden and not so hidden histories of buildings throughout the city. Today, I'm visiting Osgoode Hall, a nearly 200-year-old courthouse that's still active today. My first stop was Courtroom 8, which is used by the Court of Appeals, and is the most accessible courtroom in all of Ontario, featuring wide gaps between desks, adjustable desks and monitors, cameras for those to video call in, and more. Check out these microphones that light up when someone's talking. They make things easier to track for judges with hard of hearing.
Huh.
I love this song.
This is Courtroom 2, another appeals court that was originally built in 1885. Up next, the main reason I came here. The Great Library.
The laws!
There are laws!
Whoa. This is...
I hate how many there are.
That's the
Look
worst
at all
part.
those volumes. There's a Final Fantasy joke here somewhere.
Oh my god. You don't have to relate it to us gamers. We're smart. We love laws.
Outside of that tiny nook, the library is nice, open, and spacious.
Beautiful.
What? I love laws.
The
Law
Benchers
Society.
reception room is basically a fancy hangout area for the board members of the Law Society. Fun fact about the convocation room. These chairs were originally meant for the Canadian Bank. It was a whole thing, but Osgoode Hall got them for a discount.
Yeah.
The Convocation Hall. Originally done construction in 1882. It was used for lectures, exams, called at the bars, moot courts, but now it's just used for special functions. Ironically, I don't ever think I actually answered the question of where are laws kept.
I saw him.
Maybe it was more about the journey than the destination. Or something like that.
Wasn't this the answer?
Yeah,
There's
but
that final
still,
bit.
like...
Also, they didn't open any of those books. Maybe they're just blank.
They could be blank. They should be blank.
And
What,
if
did
they
you
are,
read all
then
of
you're
them?
allowed to just do anything. Purge rules.
So every building like this has those tomes and books?
And if we
They all
destroy
have
them
the
all...
statutes of Canada, yes.
Okay. That's... it's such an... I was going to say easy play. It's not easy. It's awesome. But like opening with a clip of us, like, yes, I'm listening.
I wonder if they had this idea when we said that.
Yeah, I wonder. Way to go, Not Weirder. Congratulations.
Great idea, great job.
Yep. Next one is Villas.
Over the past 8 years, Blazing Glory has charted a course of adventure across Arcanum, a realm unaware of its own doom and destiny. Now, nearing the end, one character and player has been there the entire time. What is your name?
My name is Stephanie Elko.
Okay. What is your character's name?
Faith, also known as Calista.
All right. And what kind of character are you?
She is a cleric as well as sorceress. Her deity is the Great Bear.
Okay. A lot of players never interact with high-level play. How did you find it?
I found it challenging. The big battles and trying to come up with the strategic plans and our tactics with the mass battles and extremely powerful creatures and liches that we were going after definitely made it complicated.
Is there a spell or ability you had the entire game and never used, or close to the entire game?
Well, Calm Emotions, I think, was definitely one of those spells, which I got to use at level 20 at long last.
There we go, there we go. New Arca or Vishoth?
New Arca.
Would you do a long-term campaign ever again, or is one good?
I would do it again. I mean, the best part about D&D for me is hanging out with my friends and making an amazing story. For me was, and so much of ways, like a personification of myself. And this character really meant a lot to me, and as well as the other players in the group, I was very invested in their stories as well. So I think in order to make that decision of I'm going to be in another 8-year campaign or however long it's going to be, you kind of need to know how well you're going to mesh with the other players and how engaging the story was.
Do you feel Faith was consistently guided by her original mission, her original reason for adventure?
I think it grew.
Okay.
It vastly outgrew what it was, which was gathering followers and finding the guardians of the Great Bear and awakening them and helping them solve problems. It became so much bigger than that, but still through all of her heroic deeds and the things that she was doing, the people of New York are still learning about the Great Bear, which is her original mission.
And grow it did. But as one chapter ends, the story continues. Perhaps with you in the pages. Game and every...
What an awesome idea for zooming in. Yeah, like ProSite number 6 in the Twitch chat says, every D&D player's dream, a deep dive into your specific character. Yeah, a D&D. Oh, it was New Arca. I got the poll wrong on Twitch. Forgive me. That's awesome. Way to go, Villas.
New Arca one anyway.
Awesome. John Skovic.
Excellent.
Next one.
Another combo breaker one.
What? Did they know each other?
Combo Breaker 2024 took place May 24th through May 26th. Let me walk you through my first year of attending the event. This was the 9th year of the tournament in its current iteration. It's advertised as a Chicago fighting game tournament, but really takes place about 40 minutes outside the city at a hotel and convention center in Schaumburg. The event has sort of a street art, skate punk sort of vibe, which clashes in a fun way with the fancy ballroom chandeliers of the event space. First and foremost, Combo Breaker is a tournament. There are tons of brackets with everything from tournament mainstays, returning classics.
I'm totally looking for
the latest and greatest entries in the biggest franchises.
There we go.
Hotly anticipated upcoming releases.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was there. That's cool.
And whatever this is.
Tell us what that is. I'm so curious. I've never seen that.
Here's me hitting Street Fighter 6.
And it's just whatever
it had 1,400 entrants, making it the second biggest tournament at Combo Breaker after Tekken 8. I didn't have very high expectations for myself with all the pro players flying in for the event, but had a great time and did much better than expected.
Nice.
Okay. Not bad.
Besides the tournaments, there are vendors selling controllers and merch, and a ton of artists selling stickers, posters, and even body pillows for all you freaks out there.
Hey!
Freaks are people too.
Being in a huge crowd cheering for some of the best players in the world in some of my favorite games was an awesome experience, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who's into fighting games at any level.
Sweet.
The only other big fighting game tournament I've been to before is EVO, and Combo Breaker was pretty close in size and much better in vibes. I'll definitely be coming back next year.
Oh. Hell yeah. John
Excellent.
Skovic. Way to go. Different from the other one.
Yeah. I love that they included the crowd screaming for the grand final winner or whatever. Like, just let that play. That seems like it would be absolutely electric to be in that room.
Oh my God, absolutely. We get excited about Summer Games Done Quick, but it's rare, I think, that the crowd's like the competitive, yeah. Well, I guess Summer Games Done Quick is competitive in its own way. I'll stop bashing that thing. That's awesome. Way to go. Next one is Gabitha. You tell me, Gabitha.
Who was David Carlson? To an average person out in the world, this name holds no meaning. But to me, he was one of the most important people in the world. Let's start from the beginning. He was born in 1942 to Esther and Vernon Carlson in a little city in southwest Washington called Kelso. He was born and raised here with several siblings from his mother and stepmother, Maxine. Soon after graduating high school in the 60s, he enlisted in the U.S. Army and was stationed in Japan. I have a fond memory of him talking about a girlfriend he had there where she taught him how to speak Japanese. After he returned to the U.S., he met my grandmother Shirley at a bar where she was a singer. The story I was told growing up was that she saw him across the bar and said she was going to marry him one day. I remember being shown these little bar napkins that had notes on them that they wrote for each other. They wed in '67 and had 2 children, my uncle and my mom. Sadly, Dave and Shirley divorced in 2003, but shortly after, he met his life partner, Nadine. Some of my favorite things about him are that he was always happy. His smile and laugh could light up a room, and he wanted everyone to feel welcome and never failed to make you laugh. He loved to travel and learn about different cultures. He was a lover of music and dancing. He really liked to salsa. I learned all my cooking skills from him. He loved a good glass of wine, always a Merlot, and most importantly, he was an amazing grandfather. He stepped up to raise me for much of my childhood when my mom wasn't able to, and for that, I am so grateful. He was always my biggest supporter, whether it was theater performances, driver's ed, graduation, college, you name it. He encouraged me to get out of my shell and try new things. I don't think I'd be the person I am today without him. Around 2010, he was diagnosed with cancer. He fought it off multiple times, but the most recent diagnosis proved much harder to combat. After nearly 13 years of on and off treatments, testing, and trials, he was finally able to rest. I miss hearing him laugh and the stories he used to share. I miss the phone calls and birthday cards and Christmas at his house. I miss visiting with him on the deck on a nice sunny day. I will always be grateful for the impact he made on mine and other people's lives. I hope I made you proud.
Jeez. That is sweet. Gabitha, thank you.
Amazing.
Those photos were so good.
Yeah, I love the impulse of like, look, my grandpa was a huge hunk when he was a kid. We're all going to show off how hot he was.
Yeah, I wish it didn't have to be this way. It's rare to just, I feel like I could hear his laughs just from the photos, you know? That's such a nice way to capture them.
And the straight progression from baby all the way through, like it being all chronological.
Yeah.
Really wild to see someone's life like that. We should all be so lucky to have a tribute video made for us like that.
Yeah. Especially just the slight jitter, the whole, slideshow presentation style, that adds so much.
Yeah, deceptively simple presentation.
Right.
Like there's more going on than you think.
Jeez.
Unflashy.
Way to go, Gabitha. Thank you for sharing that story. That was beautiful.
Phenomenal.
This is Vincent Baker.
Hello, my name is Vincent. This is Corey, and I also have Ham with me. We're Vindicator Entertainment. We're an indie tabletop gaming company. We make card games, RPGs,
happening?
all that.
I'll start it over. Leo, what's happening?
What?
It's breaking down. Okay, hang on.
And I also have Ham with me. We're Vindicator Entertainment. We're an indie tabletop gaming company. We make card games, RPGs, all that fun stuff right here in good old South Carolina. You've heard of us from Other Worlds, Don't Want to Hit My Dog, Legendaria, Don't Want to Hit My Dog Still.
Throw stuff on the ground, yeah.
Spellslingers, Guillotine, Heartseeker, Light Paper Moon, and Death Sin. So, thank you for watching our documentary. Hopefully you enjoy. So the life of making card games and RPGs is not very exciting from behind the screen. Essentially it's me sitting in my studio by myself and going through different cards and having to mess with a lot of files and trying to make sure the designs work out, the templating, a lot of this extra borders here because it's gonna crop out for bleed. I have to make sure that things are formatted right, and I need to get an editor to check the spelling and the way the things are worded, things like that. So this is from my latest card game that got kickstarted, so we got that going on, so all that fun stuff. We're also messing around with these little circle shards, and we have to make sure that they fit well within here, and they're cropped out proportionately, and just messing around with stuff like that. Also, just a lot of formatting, different artwork, designs. Nothing crazy, but there's that. And then there's also us playtesting, where we'll have the team get together and play different expansions, and normally we'll live stream it, but sometimes if it's meant to be extra secretive, we'll get together and keep it off camera, and we'll play test and figure things out, take notes, and then go from there. We also do tons of conventions and shows. It's a great way for us to meet fans and to make new fans of our games, to show them off to people, and to just have wonderful and great experiences. We mostly stay in the Southeast currently, and we do about anywhere from 17 to 21 shows a year. And that's in addition to us all having full-time jobs on top of running Vindicated. Look,
Wow.
we even have references on our cards. Adventuring and min-maxing my stats, I could get used to this.
Come on.
Oh
Hey,
my god.
min-max, this is my place, and that's my dog Ham. Funny enough, whenever I leave Ham here, yeah, Ham, you're on camera. Whenever I leave him here, whenever he has to be home alone, I almost always put it on your channel.
From 2020. That's awesome.
Hello, my
Thank you so much. Very sweet. Little pandering towards the end, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's sweet. Love it. Way to go, Vincent. Next one up, yeah, someone says the precursor to Bob Buell's videos. It's the prequel, if you will. All right, we got Non-Binary Bomb up next here. Crash of Sterling. All right, good to know.
I hate to say it, but I'm excited about
This is Park
I know, I almost
Slope,
said let's
Brooklyn,
go.
a place known for its tranquil beauty and luxury brownstone apartments. But in 1960, it was a different place entirely. After World War II, the neighborhood fell into decline, as factory closures sent workers searching for jobs in nearby cities. As livelihood sank, affordability went up, attracting a new, diverse group of lower-income tenants. Suddenly, hundreds of Black, Puerto Rican, Irish, and Italian families were living in century-old mansions converted into single-bedroom units. These were the folks you could have seen heading to work, grabbing coffee, or taking the kids to school on December 16th, 1960, the day of the crash of Sterling. TWA Flight 266 was heading to LaGuardia Airport, while United Airlines Flight 826 made its way to JFK from Chicago. At around 10:20 a.m., the United crew contacted their communications provider for help fixing a broken navigational receiver, neglecting to inform air traffic control. The crew were unable to fix the receiver in time for their scheduled descent, but opted to proceed to New York airspace without active radar. Less than 5 minutes later, air traffic control had already issued clearance for the TWA flight to break 5,000 feet. Noticing the two flights' converging paths, an operator moved to divert United away from TWA, but before they could act, contact was lost with both planes. The bulk of the airliner from TWA crashed in a vacant part of Staten Island. The United flight attempted to land in an open area of Prospect Park, but tragically failed to clear the bordering neighborhood, colliding at 7th and Sterling. Fire spread between buildings, engulfing 10 brownstone apartments synonymous with the area. A crowd of onlookers gathered as fire officers hurried to put out the flames, a dangerous task made all the more difficult due to a 100-yard trench in the street cut by the United flight's tail. The sole surviving passenger, Stephen, was rushed to Methodist Hospital, where he passed the following morning. He was 11 years old. Within a year, the corner of 7th and Sterling looked fully repaired, but it's still possible to find reminders of the crash that claimed 134 lives, 6 of whom were on the ground, particularly at 125 Sterling Place, whose roofing was completely torn apart. Despite news of the world's deadliest mid-air collision to date, Park Slope had become desirable, and rising rents soon displaced the same immigrants and families of color impacted by this horrible disaster. Today, Park Slope is a glaringly white, wealthy neighborhood. It's as if the crash of Sterling had done more than claim lives that day, drawing a dividing line between one chapter for this corner of Brooklyn, New York, and the next.
Jeez. Non-binary bomb.
That was awesome.
That is...
No joke. My the co-host of Something Rotten, Blake Hester, brings up this plane crash. I would say once every 3 days.
Really?
Like, I've talked to him so much about it. So
Oh,
it's
God.
awesome to see this documentary on it.
Does he, like, live near it or something? I guess you don't have to say that.
I think he just thinks it's, like, neat, interesting.
Yeah. Jeez.
The photos are unreal.
Yeah. I had never heard this, I don't think. Sorry if I glossed over that part on your Something Rotten podcast. So the idea was like, I was trying to find like the remnants that they were talking about. Is it like this different color of the building, like the different bricks. Huh. That's a good specific topic to zoom in on. That's awesome.
Excellent work.
Jacob Thompson, you're next.
Oh,
sorry, Jacob. Oh.
My name is Alyssa Ludens. I've been teaching for 4 years now. Right now I teach kindergarten, but I've taught 4th and 5th grade. So our school's union rep came up to me and she asked if I was making under $60,000, and I said yes. And she asked if she could put me in contact with a senator named Heather Gustafson, and I said yes. I thought that we were just going to be talking like in a conference room just about how little money I make, but we ended up speaking at the Capitol about it. I had never heard of the bill prior to her coming up to me, but the bill was about giving tax breaks to teachers who made under $60,000 a year. I was feeling really nervous going into it because I did not think that I was going to be talking at the Capitol. I found out like the night before. I listened to 2 bills before the one that I spoke on, and just hearing how the other senators were talking about teachers, it made me get really angry. So that as I was nervous, but then when I went into speaking, I was a little more angry rather than nervous.
In my first few years of teaching, I had to donate plasma along with teaching 8 weeks of summer schools to afford groceries in the summer. I cannot fathom the idea of buying a home or starting a family right now, while friends of the same age working in other fields are able to do that.
Most of them were not receptive at all. They were talking as if teachers were greedy. Last year, Minnesota passed a big omnibus bill for a lot of education funding, and they kept going back to that, saying we just gave education a lot of money, why do you need more? Not really getting that that's going to schools versus teachers. These are 2 different things. I know that as a teacher in Minnesota, though, I'm very lucky. I hear horror stories from other states where you'll get investigated because you show a movie with gay characters in it. Yeah, it can be really scary. Everything that you're doing is being watched under a microscope, and you never know, like, okay, if I do this, will that be an email, or will it be a meeting, or will it be a hearing? I think a lot of what those senators don't see is that if we don't make teaching more alluring to people, then the problems that we have right now are only going to get worse because more people will leave. And then because more people leave, the problems will get worse, and then more people will leave, and they don't see that.
Travis in Fargo. Here we go.
Ask anyone in Fargo about their favorite time of year, and I guarantee you'll hear the same response repeatedly.
Oh, it's definitely cleanup week. I love cleanup week.
Cleanup week.
Oh, it's cleanup week.
Cleanup week.
Cleanup week.
Definitely cleanup week.
I love cleanup week.
But what exactly is cleanup week? Well, every year in May, when the snow has melted and flowers bloom, the city of Fargo allows residents to pile up trash and debris on their boulevard, and on the designated day, city workers will come and haul all of that trash away.
This is kind of awesome.
Cleanup week is an option for residents of Fargo to get rid of that extra debris or unwanted things. Maybe they don't have a way to haul that to the landfill, and there's no charge, so I guess those are pretty big benefits for residents.
You can set out items like furniture, old tires, kitchen appliances, and boxes that are too large to normally fit in the curbside bin, but just about anything goes, from classic movie soundtracks, failed gardening experiments, and toilets galore. You can set out just about anything, including the kitchen sink.
What?
Some residents put out salvageable or perfectly functional items for cleanup week, which brings us to the next best part of cleanup week, junking. Now, anyone can be a junker, but the real pros tend to drive around with flatbed trailers or racks strapped to the top of their vehicles, searching the boulevards for a diamond in the rough. or at least a novelty gold bar in the grill. You never know what you might discover.
Yeah, that's not a repeat.
I like woodworking, so what I like about Cleanup Week is all the scrap pieces that people throw away, and then I can refurbish them into putting in signs and stuff like that for mine. And then just nonchalantly people's garbage they throw away might be my treasure.
Treasure, like this ladder I just found.
Yeah.
According to Google.com, it retails for about $100, which makes this a great find. But aside from all the fun and finding, Cleanup Week is also a time for self-reflection. Because when you look out your window at all of your stuff on the boulevard, you can't help but consider your consumption habits and ponder the temporary nature of things. Is all of my stuff just future junk? And like some passing craze from yesteryear, will one day I be tossed to the proverbial curb like so much junk on Cleanup Week to be crushed in the cruel, trash compactor of time? But maybe I'm overthinking it. I love Cleanup Week because it's a great time to get outside, see something new, and remember that life is best when you're curious about the world around you. I hope I see you next Cleanup Week.
We'll be there, Travis.
We'll be there.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Yeah, very how-to with John Wilson, but hey, I ain't complaining. Love it.
Excellent.
It's gonna be funny just to walk around Fargo and just film a bunch of trash. It's for a Minnesota-based video game site.
Another documentary about Cleanup Week? Can we have some privacy in our lives, please?
Next documentary is Benj. Here you go, Benj. Wait, what year is it?
She was my roommate at the University of Wisconsin. She invited me to come and visit her in Canada. So I went, and every Sunday, they would go to the, she would go to the beach, and she always had boyfriends. So we went to the beach, and she said that the tall guy, the real good-looking tall guy, is here every Sunday. And so, but when we first walked in, there were two guys. One of them they had fixed me up with before. And then this other guy was there, and I didn't know him. So I remember Noreen said, okay, we're going to go and look for whatever his name was. Well, just lie down here and wait for us, and we'll be back in a short time. So I lie down, and there's a radio, and this other guy's listening to the radio. And I said, I want to hear classical music. He said, oh, well, I like classical music, but this guy that's playing, I think it was a baseball team, is from Niagara Falls, and that's where I'm from. So when the baseball game is over, then I will, try to, turn on classical music. And I'm looking at him, and I said, oh my gosh, who is this? Then I guess he did turn on classical music. Anyway, then we went back to get dressed, the girls. And I said, Noreen, I'm going to marry him. What are you talking about? You just talked to him for a few minutes. I said, I don't care. I just knew that was it. That was, and so he would come and visit. And I told him, I said, no matter what, I am going to get my degree. I'm going to graduate from college. And I did. And then we got married. There was never anybody else for me, no matter what. No matter what. And that's the story. Except he left me too soon. But that's life. You have to take the good with the bad. But I had him for 60 years. I was blessed. Really blessed.
Perfect.
Wow.
Great stuff. You get the whole history. You get the my grandparents were babes. Here's some great looks at them being babes.
Yeah.
And just seeing like their whole life just kind of like fast forward.
I love just the confidence of hey, play some classical music. I'm trying to sit on this beach.
I'd be like, all right, well, he's a baseball player, but after the baseball game, then we'll play some classical.
Jeez. She's got a good look, great voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else was feeling kind of the building tension of like, okay, are they going to whip the camera over and he's going to be sitting right there? But like they didn't have late photos for a while, so it's like, and then the sweetness of her saying, gone too soon after 60 some years. Woof.
Yeah. To say I'm going to marry that person after nearly nothing and to be like right about it, it's really amazing.
She is so confident too. I'm going to marry her.
Dating apps ruined everything.
Yeah. Ben J, congratulations. Awesome. Sabai is the next one.
Alan, what is a outsetter?
You do have 10. I think I have 8. You have 7, and Connor's taking 5.
A route setter is a fully grown child that gets to paint a canvas in a way. Route setter designs rock climbs inside of a gym, so everything's fabricated. It's all man-made. A lot of the time we take inspiration
this is like a really good
outdoor climbs or even parkour.
Setting is an artistic medium, and it's one of those things that our industry relies heavily upon. Like, yes, you can throw holes in the wall in the ladder formation and have left, right the entire way up. But being able to force certain moves and require people to think outside the box and making whole climbs slightly harder while changing movements ever so slightly, it really requires a creative process, and it requires someone who understands how the body is moving kinesthetically and how to force certain movements.
Every set is like designing a little puzzle. You want it to be challenging, and you want it to be fun, and you want it to be original. You want every set to feel new and fresh. But at the same time, we have to consider accessibility. Climbs have to function for a bunch of different heights and ages and body types. We have to do risk assessment. Is it safe? There's just a lot to consider, and we could be doing 5 to 10 sets a day.
Skank it a little bit. What's it need? It needs to be difficult. What part of the setting process is this?
Get out of here.
So we're climbing through all the routes, seeing how well they accommodate the anticipated climbers. The harder stuff, it's more intricate, so it takes more time to really hone in the movement. Something like this. We could probably see 15 attempts or more before we get going again. This one, who knows, we're still pulling off the start pretty much.
Come on. Oh.
The fun and the difficulty and the enjoyment comes from the pursuit of accomplishing difficult tasks. So we need those setters to create technical, difficult
Sometimes you
terrain
see people
for us
do
to
things and you're like, that's a
and it needs to be
physics
something that needs
glitch.
to be
That shouldn't be happening.
So I think that without setters, realistically, the industry would not survive in indoor sense. We'd still be climbing outdoors, don't get me wrong, but indoors, there's only so many kids' parties you can run, man.
Awesome. Awesome topic.
That was great.
Fascinating.
You know, visually it's going to look great.
Yeah, I loved how many different people they talked to.
Right.
You know, that we got like the whole staff talking about stuff.
Yeah, they are kind of their own little game designers in a way. Like I hadn't really thought of that before. That is cool.
Yeah. It's like satisfying work, fun place to be at.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Sabai. Next one.
Can you imagine like watching people run your route you set up all day long?
Oh my God, yeah.
That'd be so satisfying.
Real Mario Maker vibes.
Yeah, well, what's that base building game you liked, Leo? Meet Your Maker?
Meet Your Maker, yes.
More
saw blades.
Steve Aleutian up next. Oh.
Hello, I am Peter, also known as Alpha Chrome Yayo, and I make far out exciting music for a whole bunch of stuff. I release records myself on Bandcamp and other cool places, and I'm very psyched that lots of cool people seem to dig it. I also make music for films, animations, and most recently some kick-ass game soundtracks. So I've been making music under the name Alpha Chrome Yayo for about 6 years now. I started it originally, I've been making music for a long time. I've been making music for as long as I can remember.
Like 6 years.
I started Alpha Chrome Yayo when I got into synthesizers quite heavily about 6 years ago. Originally to score Dungeons and Dragons games that I was running and other tabletop RPGs, making cool dungeon synthy kind of backdrop stuff. So this is one of my more unusual instruments. It's the Suiko VS1. It's a Japanese synthesizer from the mid-80s built in Ikebukuro, Tokyo. It's kind of unusual. It is a synthesizer, and it was originally designed to soundtrack Shigen, which are kind of poetry readings, either done in public or just by yourself. This thing is partly designed to make your own soundtrack with these poetry readings, and it's also used to teach koto scales. Koto is another traditional Japanese instrument. So this thing, it's not laid out like a keyboard like most of these synthesizers. It's not chromatic, as in you have every note in front of you. Instead, you have two scales, which I think it's tuned to the Insen scale, which is a Japanese scale, and also the minor pentatonic scale, which is quite similar to more Western scale. But I'm getting too technical. It just kicks ass. I mean, even just touching this thing,
perfect,
transports you somewhere else. I'm usually working on a few albums. I've got like one on the go, which is kind of made with hardware and software that emulates the Yamaha synthesizer inside the original Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. This is it here, actually, I can show you it. So this basically emulates Mega Drive hardware. It's great fun. I've been having tons of fun with that. I've also, in the past 2 years of my life, a lot of my time has been spent making, I'm the lead composer on a game by Kaizen Gameworks called Promise Mascot Agency. I am so excited about this. Even if I had nothing to do with this game, I would be biting my own hand off to try and get a go at it. It's just awesome.
Awesome. Alpha Chrome Yayo.
Those instruments are so cool. I want to play with that synthesizer so bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So people are piecing it together. So he's working on Mascot Agency, the game that Ikumi Nakamura was like producing or involved with in some way. That was in that show. That space looks so fun. Oh, the skylight up there. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations to Evolution. That is great. Republic Rabatine. It's not Writers Republic, Leo. Sit down, relax. This is Republic Rabatine. Here we go.
Hey, MinnMax. Recently, my family and I took a vacation across the country to visit one of the most unique theme parks from the big two big boys in the space, Islands of Adventure. I don't know if this counts as a doc, but I recorded all the footage myself, so I'm counting it.
All right.
It does.
Opening 25 years ago in May of 1999, the park was built as a companion to Universal Studios. The land we spent the most time in across our 2-day trip was Marvel Superhero Island. Yes, Universal owns the rights to use Marvel characters in their parks on the East Coast.
That's weird.
It's cool. I like it. Here we spent a lot of time riding the Spider-Man ride. My brother went on the Doctor Doom dropper ride apparently like 7 times, I guess. And the Storm ride and the Hulk roller coaster, freaking sick. The Storm ride is like a teacups ride, but with like a story. You're sucking the power out of Magneto. The next island over is Toon Lagoon, where you get to see characters
Kathy
from
has a station?
literally every
Kathy.
single newspaper comic except for Garfield and Peanuts. Although there is a certain other orange newspaper cat, if you want that. I love Heathcliff.
We all do.
There's a Popeye River Rapids ride and a Dudley Do-Right log flume that got me and my family absolutely soaked. It was crazy.
Dudley Do-Right log flume.
And there are a few other lands that we didn't spend as much time in. There's the Jurassic Park land, the Dr. Seuss land,
Jurassic
which I
Park?
think is pretty cool, and Port of Entry, which is basically just the entrance land, but it looks straight up like a Final Fantasy pre-rendered background. It's super freaking cool. That's what you've been looking at most of this time, because I didn't record that much footage. I like all these lands, but there isn't enough time to talk about them, so bye-bye!
Hang on, there's something in the water. Beautiful. Islands of Adventure.
Move over, Jenny Nicholson. There's a new theme park talker in town.
My bucket list just like tripled.
Dudley, do right. Juz 10 coming up next. That's the Doc Lightning motto, baby.
Hi, MinnMax community. My name is Justin, and I'm a certified mental health counselor. I have my dream job supporting others, helping them overcome mental or physical struggles.
No one read her lips. It's a HIPAA violation.
When I was in grad school, I met
Lippa.
my classmate Susan, who this video is going to be about. Susan had the same dream I did to become a counselor, but what inspires me is the journey it took her to get there. Susan packed up her things, moved across country so that she could follow her dream, attend grad school, and change her career to become a counselor at 59 years old.
Awesome.
What was it like, or what inspired you to walk the path that you did?
Husband and I agreed when we got married in 1982 that he would get his degree and then I would get mine. And then it was, once he graduated, we were just doing life, and it never felt like the right time until 2013. He was diagnosed with cancer. And in 2014, we were told that what was there was inoperable and that he would be dead by Christmas. So I thought, I'm gonna need a real job. I just kept doing one semester at a time, thinking, I'll just see how this turns out. I'll just see how this turns out. And it just kept turning out.
What would you say it's like to have a first day of school when you're about 59 years old?
Okay, so terrifying. I made sure, like, I've been gray since I was 50 probably, but I dyed my hair so that I said I was taking it down a decade. It was just like,
wow.
And I didn't want to be who I'd been in school before, which was sitting in the back muttering one-liners under my breath. You may or may not remember that I didn't actually solve that one. But
we appreciated your one-liners.
So the toughest part for me was not necessarily related to my age, but it was to think about the times in my life. Like, I had gone to university right out of high school and I failed. So sometimes we take a look at our failures and we think that proves something about us. Huge battle was always in my own head. Like, your past is not a template for your future.
If someone were to be in a position similar to you, what would you tell someone? How would you encourage them?
I've been thinking about this question a lot since you asked me. And I'm thinking, like, keep your goals manageable, for one thing. Like, I thought, I'd love to be a therapist. I'll apply to grad school. I won't get in. But I just kept doing the next thing. I did get in. And then we had to move. And it was allow space for life to surprise you. So, and now I'm like 63, job of my dreams. Most of my friends are retiring. And I'm just like, please, may I never have to retire.
Any final words of wisdom to the MinnMax community?
Keep gaming?
Yes! She gets us! We're seen today, boys!
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that for a tough one.
And at the end of the stream, are we going to watch Indica 11 Facts? Because it's really been staring me down the whole time.
Well, I guess we gotta. All right.
I love that line about thinking that failure proves something about ourselves.
Right. Yeah. That's so nice.
Wise person.
I like editing in front of a clock, too. That's a fun little Easter egg. It's The Simpsons. Sweet can. All right. Awesome work there, Juz 10. Great delivery. Richard Hayes. Final one. Eat your popcorn now, everybody. Here we go. Richard Hayes.
I'm setting up to interview the first subject of my documentary, and it's not going super well. Instead, I'll go outside for a walk. In Chinatown, I visit a dim sum bakery. In front of a dragon for good luck, I eat my first sesame ball. Sometimes, instead of running on the weekend, I walk. I'd think that walking is just running, but longer. But something indescribable happens when you slow down and just take things in from a different perspective. My walk leads me to the woods where a log makes a seat over a creek. Here I eat my second sesame ball. As I eat, I listen to the sound of the creek and the birds. I smell the mulch that lines the dirt pathways through the forest. A smell that makes the air thick and soft. Sweet potato dirt with a hint of lemon. I feel the warmth radiating from it. The sound of each footstep, 1,000 fireworks set off in the distance, heard from underneath a wool blanket. The chips of wood nearly infinite, stretched out along the path, some frayed, some stuck together. I would normally run by too quickly to notice. I would normally feel as though I couldn't afford the time to sit and reflect. So many places where so much is always happening. I couldn't see it all if I ran. I choose a direction and walk. A nearby band plays music. A bird joins me as I rest by the fountain. And I gaze upon this majestic creature of flight. This humble seagull, if it chose, could fly high above us all and race at the speed of the wind, taking everything in at once. But today, as did I, it chose to sit at this fountain. The nearby band's music rises to crescendo. Here, I eat my last sesame ball.
There we go. Richard Hayes, ladies and gentlemen.
I recognize that right away as the sequel to last year's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that other one was pretty close to the ending as well.
You're displaying this?
I gotta have something visual. Unbelievable.
Yeah, just gonna not look at the spoilers for Indica, I guess.
Unbelievable work from everybody. We sent out the call to like 4,500 people, and these 39 people said, yeah, I have the willpower. I'll make something cool. And so we can't thank you enough for stepping up and yeah, accomplishing something unique like this, putting some art out into the world. It's incredible.
Amazing, inspiring work. And an incredible spread of topics, as always. Learned so much about so many different things.
Yeah. Jacob, wise words?
I love the idea that, like, there is a story in everything.
Right.
You know, like, your dad collecting weird old machines is going to be interesting to anyone who doesn't have a dad who collects weird old machines. And the same goes for, like, you know, if you're doing bar trivia or if you, like, run a local train or whatever, it's like, if we don't know about it, you can find a way to make it interesting.
Yeah.
It's true. And 3 minutes is too short for me to lose interest in anything.
Yeah. That's the secret. Hey, again, congratulations. Richard Hayes, Juz10, Republic Rabatine, Steve Aleutian, Sabai, Benj, Travis and Fargo, Jacob Thompson, Non-Binary Bomb, Vincent Baker, Gabatha, John Skovic, Villas, Not Weirder, Nubby, Adam Wagner, Sam Kennedy, 10, Star Killer, Remy B, Jason Wojar, Tokyo Game Life, oh my god, Darkfish Days, Alex C, Bill Com 6, Max BZ, Carino Winter, Biscuits with Davey, Josh W, Trampoline Tales, Dylan Kelly, Jacob Cummings, Thomas George, Josh Ellis, Gus Arroyo, Procyan number 6, Bob Buell, David Mayer, and Kendra. Unbelievable work, everybody. Thank you so much for making this possible. Every supporter out there on Patreon, couldn't do it without you supporting this entire independent operation here. Shout out to Leo Vader, who made a documentary as well that just aired on MinnMax's channel. If you haven't checked that out, it's
thank you.
3 minutes times 70 or something.
Yeah, not that it's a competition. But it is funny timing, though. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a fun, sweet way to kick off the week of content here at MinnMax. I love it so much that, like, no, maybe this is too gross. But, like, I see the rest of the industry, like, ramping up for SGF. And it's like, look, we're going to be excited for SGF. We're going to do a bunch of Summer Game Fest content and coverage. But it's like, we're kicking off Summer Game Fest week with, like, sweet, somber, intimate documentaries, and that makes me really happy.
We're gonna watch a bunch of ads and be like mildly disappointed by them, and that's more exciting.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody, including if you unlock the extended version of Leo's documentary about, we should mention his best friend, Kobesoft Joe, who's developing the game Dome King Cabbage. If you join the Backstage Pass tier, the $10 tier, if you join at that tier, or if you upgrade to that tier, you unlock the 5-hour version of that documentary, which Leo considers the canonical version.
Yes. Tons of podcast-style chats in there. If you like that one of me and Sarah at the end of our Summer of a Game Fest vlog last year. I also thought that was very successful and wanted to have those kind of seated throughout this, recapping each day and stuff. So those ended up being really fun. And yeah, they're exclusive to the long-form version.
And if you unlock that long-form version before June 6th, 2024 here on Patreon, patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, I'll DM you on Patreon and give you a code for Undermine, which is a great roguelite game from 2020. One of Kyle's favorites, one of our favorites of the year. So I'll send you a Steam code for Undermine. Hello, Light. Shout out to the developers of Undermine for sending over these codes. They ask you to wishlist Undermine 2 if you're interested, but it's a great game that's coming out soon. So get caught up on the original because it's freaking great, and you can help support independent games media at the same time. All right, Jacob, Leo, thank you so much. Every viewer, every supporter. We'll be back next year for more short documentaries. One up this year, everybody. I frickin' dare ya.
Great job, everyone.
Thank you so much. Everyone. Goodbye.